Back at Lutbear's Memorial Field in Cornwall for the Senior Little League Canadian Baseball Championships. In fact, Glace Bay Antonians have a 1-0 lead as Robert Piercy cruises along, and he'll face his 10th batter. He's mowed through the lineup so far, allowed only one base runner. That was a walk to Dominique Pilote, who was erased on a double play in the second inning. This now is Marc-Andre Leduc, who had a tough inning in the bottom of the third with a throwing error that started off the rally. Leduc swinging strike one. He flied out to the left fielder on his first at-bat. It was a good catch by David Denny. So Leduc has been involved quite a bit. First play of the game for him, a good ranging play in the hole. And there's the first hit of the game for the Valleyfield squad as their leadoff batter is on here in inning number 4.
So just a solid base hit into left field there by Marc-Andre Leduc.
Get a look at that one here.
Fastball, I believe, on the outside part of the plate. Indeed, Leduc just drives it past the shortstop for this Glace Bay squad.
Good piece of hitting there by Leduc, going with the pitch. It was thrown outside, and he took it there past shortstop Steve McNeil, and that will bring up catcher Jonathan Roncourt. Runner on, nobody out here. Valleyfield wants to get that run back and quickly. Piercy to the belt, squaring around to bunt, but fouled straight back by Roncourt. And there you were right, Scott. You watched him, he dropped his bat.
The bat head was lower than the handle. Something that my coach has always taught me, and you know, I like to pass along, is when you can, keep your bat at eye level. When you can, go down with your bat and go up with your bat. And that way your eye is on the ball and you watch it hit the bat and you receive the ball. You don't bunt out at it, you take the bat back. You saw on that one with Roncourt, his bat was at an angle. We'll see what they do here with an 0-1 count now.
Leduc the runner at first, to check over there. A pitch out there, throw down to second. They have the runner hung up. Leduc gone. An excellent call as the play goes 2-6 for the putout. A strong throw by catcher Greg Fortune, and Steve McNeil applies the tag and a caught stealing.
That was, I think, poor base running there by Marc-Andre Leduc. We'll see the play here. Strong throw by Fortune, right through to shortstop McNeil. Down with the tag, he's out. Leduc has to make sure that bunt is down. That was not a straight steal. Third base coach for Valleyfield was a little upset with his runner. Aggressive base running, sure, but you have to make sure that the ball is on the ground on a bunt.
Roncourt now with a count of 2-1. Takes a pitch low and inside. That makes it 3-1. So Piercy getting help from his defense in this game so far. The two runners that he's allowed have both been erased. So he's gone through the minimum so far.
And Piercy's been involved in those runners being erased. He was the first part of that double play, and he followed through on a very good pitch on the pitch out. Nice eye-level throw for Fortune.
That one bounces in the dirt. His third base runner in the second walk of the game here. So Roncourt is on in the 4th inning. Good thing that I scored it in the 3rd. That will bring up Marc-Andre Majeur, the opposing pitcher now. He flied out to center field in his first at-bat. He wields a pretty good bat from the right side of the plate. I got the sign from head coach Steph Seguin over at third base. As he steps into the box with Roncourt on first with a walk. One down here in the top of the 4th inning. Even though the scoreboard shows inning number 3. Piercy's pitch from the stretch a little bit high. Seemed to rush that delivery and lose his mechanics.
Just a little bit, and you can see the ball was high and inside as well. You're right, Majeur certainly has the more interesting stance we've seen so far in this game, that's for sure. He gets down in that crouch. Looks very awkward.
Allows him to see the ball well, the way he has his head turned and that front shoulder dipped down. And he laces one out into left field. Denny coming on, he makes the catch and gets it back in quickly. So good contact made, but good defense to cover it up, and there's 2 outs. He's flied out twice and hit the ball hard both times.
So the cleanup man, Laporte, now up with a runner on base and 2 outs. Glace Bay still up 1-0. Here we'll see Major with a drive. Gets good aluminum on it, as it were, but David Denny played the ball very well. Line shot wasn't so much a fly ball, but a line drive. Denny had him played almost perfectly.
Cleanup hitter Laporte with a runner on first base. Takes a ball one. I don't know what was wrong with that pitch. Looked pretty good from right behind the plate.
Well, that's why you're up here and he's down there.
Well, Sirois got an interesting strike zone. We've definitely mentioned that about this game. 2 down, 1-0 the count on the center fielder. Runner on first is catcher Roncourt. Piercy gives him a look and then a throw inside. Bouncing ball to McNeil. He'll throw it over to second for the force out, as that play, if you're scoring at home, goes 6-4. And finally, over the limit is pitcher Robert Piercy. He's now one batter over the limit, as we have a fielder's choice there. 6-4 for Carl Laporte. He does get on base.
So a nice play there by McNeil, taking the easy force at second base.
So after 3.5 innings and Glace Bay coming to bat, they're leading 1-0 as Piercy gets through his first tough inning.
That's right. He handled himself quite well, and you mentioned he's one over the limit now, meaning he has to sit out a day off the mound. So we'll have to see next time Glace Bay plays who their pitcher is.
Well, the schedule for this afternoon, BC plays the host team from Cornwall at 4 o'clock. We'll be broadcasting Cornwall's game on Monday afternoon as they play Stony Creek, Ontario. Should be an interesting one. Cornwall did have trouble qualifying in the Ontario tournament. They went 0-2 in their first couple of games, but still a tough team, as they showed last year in the juniors that were played here.
Yeah, they really showed well last year. A lot of people were surprised at their showing here last year. They, you know, the host team, they're not necessarily up to snuff. I mean, that's a given, and that's just, you know, the nature of the beast. But they had a couple of very close games, and had it not been for one close loss, they could have advanced into the playoff round. But full marks to the Cornwall squad last year. This year's team coached by Jack McHugh, a high school teacher here in town. So we'll wait to see on Monday how they fared on the weekend.
Measure still on the mound. This is the second game today and of the tournament. The opening ceremonies aren't even until tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. That's after Quebec, and this is the Valleyfield team, of course, takes on the team from British Columbia. BC does play Cornwall after this one. Earlier today, Calgary West beat Stony Creek, Ontario 3-1. Calgary West, the Prairie representative in this tournament. The finals go a week today. The championship game at 11 a.m. We'll broadcast that for you. We have 2 other games that we'll bring to you Monday afternoon. It will be Cornwall and Stony Creek. And then Tuesday, we're also going to bring you another game, the Prairies and BC. So it will be Calgary West and BC. So you'll get a look at all the teams in the tournament here. And Scott Gill will explain the playoffs to us in just a moment as we enter the halfway mark of this baseball game. 3.5 innings, 1-0. The score for the Antonians. What's that name? Never heard anything like that before.
And it was a neat story. It was an interesting story. There's more to the story. I just can't remember it, but it was interesting.
Robert Piercy now, the pitcher, against Major. Take that ball low and outside for ball 1 in the bottom of the 4th inning.
And we talked about the relationship that Coach Bonner has with his team. Bases loaded last inning, and Jeff McClellan up to bat. He Ks. And he was very, very upset with himself. But Coach Bonner just came over and said, settle down, don't worry about it. We're up 1-0. And again, showing that relationship he has with his players.
Major does not get the call on the off-speed pitch that looked like it hit the outside corner. And he was not happy with it, so he takes a walk around the mound to let off some steam. It may have painted the corner, could have been a little bit high. There's another one high and outside. 3-0 now the count to pitcher Robert Piercy. Last time up, Piercy flew out to the right fielder of Valleyfield, Patrick Reed, making a nice catch as he had to tail towards the line just a little bit. Both pitchers have surrendered a hit. That's now the 4th walk given up by Major as his struggles continue here in inning number 4. Catcher Roncourt out to talk to his pitcher and settle him down here. What does a catcher say to a pitcher in a position like this?
Smarten up. No, he just he goes out, just calm him down. I know when I was catching, and you know, obviously you have to know each pitcher individually. You know, there's some guys you go out and you joke with them. You take their mind totally off what's going on in the game. Other guys you go out and you berate them. I mean, you tell them to smarten up and let's get the ball over the plate. Now, here's an interesting play here.
David Denny making no excuses here. He's going to throw over to first base. It gets by the first baseman, and the pitcher Piercy will make it all the way to second base on the throwing error there by Major, as it just got by number 20, the first baseman Pilote at first.
I don't think Pilote was looking. He wasn't ready. Watch this. It's not a bad throw at all. Oh, it's just on the outside of our screen. You just can't quite see it, but Pilote didn't really even see it. It was right at his glove. It glanced off and went down the line a ways, allowing Piercy to move up.
You know, if Piercy didn't get to second base via the thrown away ball there, it could have been a balk call.
It might have.
So runner on second now, nobody out on the error. Up there to bunt now is David Denny. Denny bunts and misses on that one. You don't see that very often, and it looked like he tried to run before he hit it.
You'll see that Valleyfield has a play set up here. The third baseman is staying back. Third baseman Labonte staying back. First baseman Pilote coming in. So obviously the goal here is to bunt it up the third baseline, because that's Major's job, is to
throw down to second base here. They go for Piercy, and he's out. A good cover by Leduc, a strong throw from catcher Roncourt, and he is erased for a 2-6.
Here you'll see the pitch, low and in the dirt. Roncourt just comes up throwing. Piercy's got to go in. He's got to get down and get dirty.
Piercy didn't think with it so far away that he'd be cut down, that any throw would get there quick enough. But he is now out.
Now the pressure's off a little bit of Major. 1-1.
Then he will be swinging away now. No one on base. And one out. Then he takes a long walk out. He gets a sign from head coach Nick Bonner. Ground ball to the shortstop Leduc. He'll take his time. He'll make the throw over to first. That is 2 down.
He really has confidence in his arm, doesn't he? He gets that ground ball, takes a couple of steps, reads the label, and then just guns it over to first base. Boy, oh boy. Even the error that he made, it was a high throw to first base. It was still had lots of gusto on it, that's for sure.
That will bring up catcher Greg Fortune, who has scored the only run in this game so far. In the last inning, he reached via the error of Leduc, the one you just talked about, Scott, when Leduc made the throwing error last inning, as Fortune was the leadoff batter. Major hoping that Fortune will be the last batter in this inning. First pitch was high for a ball, 1-0, 2 down. 0 for 1 is Fortune in this game. Good fastball from Major, blows it right by the opposing catcher, and it's quickly 1-1. There's a shot of Major. Looks like he's getting a little bit tired out there. The balls are starting to come up high as he's dropping that shoulder. Not following through completely. They always talk about when you throw the ball, follow through. There's a foul ball back out of play to our right. And Scott, the follow through is very important, not because that's what gives you the power, but if you don't follow through, what you're really doing is stopping right in the middle of your motion.
That's right. It's unhealthy for one thing. I mean, it puts a lot of stress and strain on your shoulder. And the follow-through is a key for fielding as well. We've seen Piercy make a couple of plays today. He's been square to the batter when he's done his windup.
Full count now, as that one was just a little bit inside to Fortune. With 2 down. Glace Bay hanging on to a 1-0 lead. That one bounces away, and it is ball 4. Another walk from Major. So Fortune on for the second time in this game, second time in 2 innings as well. And with 2 down, that will bring up Steve McNeil after the 5th walk by Majeur. So the leadoff batter gets his 3rd appearance. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice. He grounded out to shortstop Leduc, that excellent play that Leduc made in the 1st inning, ranging in the hole. And then he was erased on a beautiful bunt, 5-3.
Yeah, great way to start off our broadcast today was that play by shortstop Leduc.
So 2 down for shortstop McNeil. Take that ball a little bit high, and Majeur can't believe he didn't get the call there. He's doing a little spinorama on the mound. Fortune on first base. 2 down. Majeur drops down to the sidearm this time, and it's 2-0. And Roncourt shrugs his shoulders at his pitcher and saying, "What are you doing? Don't change your delivery." So there's a little berating.
Majeur having a kind of an ongoing conversation with his catcher here.
Just got to pick the half and half number. Something about me, I picked it last night also
did you
at Water Street Arena.
I didn't get a chance to show you my ticket.
It's all right. I knew which one I had. No,
oh, okay.
I didn't buy one, actually. There's a pitch outside, ball for the 6th walk, and now 2 in a row by Majeur. Hands on hips is not a good sign, Scott. What would you tell your pitcher now if you're the catcher?
Just go out and tell him to settle down. I mean, he really cruised through the first 2 innings. He got a little roughed up, and then he came back strong in that 4th inning. And now he's struggling once again. Just tell him to go out and calm down. I mean, there's 2 outs. It only takes 1 pitch to get that 3rd out. Just tell him to calm down. All is well, you know.
Yeah, really.
There's not any pressure. Just throw the ball.
Two outs and 2 runners on. All you have to do really is concentrate on the batter here and no one else.
You know, you got to forget the umpire. You got to forget the other team. You just get there and you throw and you play catch with your catcher. That's all you can do.
So the batter now is Robert Grant, the right fielder, and he quickly takes ball 1.
See, Majeur is just totally exasperated out on the mound right now. Just got to tell him to take it easy because he's not doing himself any good. He's working so much faster now as well. Eh? We noticed before when there was nobody on, take his time, walk around the mound.
Sirois gives him a strike on the outside corner. It's 1-1 to Grant, who is 0 for 2. He struck out looking his first time, and then last inning he reached via the error. Actually, he was out 5-3, and then there was the error on the play, which allowed Fortune to score as they tried to get Fortune going between 2nd and 3rd. Pitch outside, it makes it 2-1 now with 2 down. Majeur looks like he's starting to overthrow. It's a case of frustration and fatigue.
That's right. You got to tell him take some deep breaths as well. You got to calm down.
Majeur takes his time, throws it out to 2nd base. Shortstop Leduc there trying for the pickoff.
Play I don't really like. You know, there's men on 1st and 2nd. You've got 2 outs. Get the batter. There's no reason to go after the runners like that.
Fortune stayed near his bag. Didn't want to get picked off. You don't want to be the 3rd out on base like that. There's a low outside fastball that's called strike number 2 as the count now goes full to Grant.
Well, and something else that Majeur has to keep in mind, and I don't know if he's noticed, maybe he hasn't noticed, but that Sirois is a pitcher's umpire. He'll give you the calls.
There's a pitch that's popped up in the infield. Leduc calls for that one, and there's out number 3. And Majeur is bailed out once again. No runs in that inning. No hits. There were 3 walks, no errors, 1 error rather, and 2 players left on base. So after 4 innings of play, it's 1-0 for the Glace Bay Antonians. Valleyfield taking a little huddle there in front of our broadcast location. They try and get it together. Once again, after 4 innings, it is 1-0 in favor of the Glace Bay Antonians. You're watching the Canadian Senior Little League Championships on Rogers Community 11. Back at Bergeron Memorial Field here in Cornwall. It's the Glace Bay Antonians leading Valleyfield 1-0. And Scott Rogers now to take you through the next couple of innings.
Okay, Dominic Pilote will lead it off for this Valleyfield club. Umpire Gary Sirois making his way back behind the plate, chatting it up with catcher Fortune for this Glace Bay team. Glace Bay up 1-0 after 4 complete innings. Pilote, kind of a shaky game today at first base. He's made a couple of errors. See if he can atone with the bat. He certainly is big enough and swings that bat like it's, as we mentioned earlier, a toothpick.
Well, he's been the furthest runner so far for Valleyfield in the second inning. He reached second base and then was cut down there on the inning-ending double play after walking.
Richie still has, Piercy still has lots of stuff on his fastball. He doesn't appear to be tiring too much. Not like his opposing pitcher, Major, seems to be laboring a bit.
What I like about Piercy is that it's practically the same delivery every time, and he hasn't allowed himself to get down when he's been in the jam. Major has allowed things to affect him, but he's been working himself out of it after a while.
You think about Major as well. He telegraphs his curveball quite a bit. You can see it coming. Totally different delivery, whereas with Piercy, like you mentioned, every pitch is just about the same.
3-1 now on Pilote.
I don't know what they feed these kids in Valleyfield, but man, they're big.
When I played against them as a young guy as well, they were always big.
The only team I remember, back in my days playing ball, there was a team we used to play the odd time in tournaments. They were from Wheatley, which is down the Windsor area of Ontario, and a bunch of farm boys, and they were just monstrous boys. And they used to kill us.
I mean, you work on the farm, you bale hay, you build the muscles, and
we're a bunch of spoiled city boys from Burlington, and they just tarred us. Man, oh man. Not sure what Coach Bonner is talking to the umpire about there. 3-2 is the count on Pilote.
It's always intimidating when you're so young and facing such a big team, but Glace Bay is not intimidated at all today.
I think that has a lot to do with their coach as well and the team being so close. So walk to Pilote to start off this 5th inning.
That's the second time that he's walked. Only the second walk in the game. Given up by Robert Piercy.
I think we're going to have a lineup change here for Valleyfield.
Coming in now is number 49, Martin Benoit, as he replaces Pilote. So Benoit now in to run for Pilote. So I imagine that we will pencil him in at first base in this spot in the lineup.
I'm not sure if he's the first baseman or not. Of course, neither Paul nor I are familiar with these teams really, but the other first baseman they had during the warm-up was wearing glasses, and I don't see glasses on Benoit, so I'm thinking maybe he just might be a pinch runner.
Number 49 will run for 58 and will re-enter the game.
So Matthew Melange up with Benoit on first base. 1-0 still for Glace Bay here in the top of the 5th inning. They had Benoit leaning on that one. Nice pickoff move by Piercy. Nice tag as well by McClellan.
You wonder if coaches Seguin and Baudouin are going to go for the bunt here, even though one of their bigger hitters is up. Well, that's what
worked once.
Glace Bay read it that way this time. They wanted to see if they could do it, but Valleyfield's not going to fall for the same trick twice, I guess. Now maybe it would be a good time to put on the bunt. Nobody out here. You'd like to move that runner over with one down.
Benoit with a healthy lead. He's leaning back to first, though. Called strike, 1-1 against Melange.
Melange was swinging away on that pitch. Still has the whole count to work with, so could bunt here. Maybe they just don't want to take the bat out of his hands, though. This looks like a customer who could give them a 2-1 lead very quickly in one swing. Both pitches that have been balls have been pitch outs in this count. Get back on.
2-1 the count now. Piercy steps off.
I like how he works so quickly. Steps off and he's back on within the blink of an eye.
Evens the count at 2-2, swinging Meloche through that high fastball.
I think the St. Lawrence there looked like an oasis for him because that's what he was swinging for.
Great baseball weather here today at Lud Bergeron Memorial Field. A little cool, which is great. Nice change from what we had in the last few weeks. The sweltering hot weather. This is great weather.
And the sun just peeking out now as well.
It's the first we've seen of the sun today. Showers here earlier today. They were able to get the first game in with no real problems this morning, but cloudy and cool. It's cool now, but nice to have the sun out.
Well, the showers really hit yesterday, and tornadoes touching down all over the place. One in Lancaster, only about 20 kilometers away, and one in Ancaster, a tragic one.
That's
that
right.
has affected the Canadian Little League.
Big League Championships, that's right. The team from Calgary, we were speaking with them earlier as Meloche swings through strike 3, 1 down. Paul, you were actually speaking with one of the presidents of the Calgary baseball, one of the Calgary baseball organizers.
Yeah, well, John Welburn was the president, and he said, well, he didn't know Matt Kroll very well. He knew of him, and a few of the players on the team knew of him, and the Calgary team down at the Big League Championships in Ancaster, west of Hamilton, has gone on, and they are going to continue to play. And Welburn said it's a good thing. He's glad that they're continuing to play because going home right now would be the wrong thing to do. Players would just sit around and think about it far too much. This way, they could remember their fallen teammate in a positive light. But just a really, really tragic story made news headlines across the country this morning.
There was a bit of confusion here yesterday when it happened because a lot of people hear Ancaster. Well, Lancaster is not too far from here,
right?
And there is a team from Calgary here, and there was thought that maybe they were down there practicing, and there was a number of calls into the radio stations and the newspapers here in town. But again, it was just a bit of confusion.
Time called there as a balk is called against Robert Piercy. So pinch runner Benoit will now be sent down to second base. This time the umpires were ready to call the balk.
We'll see if we can see some movement here. As Piercy, he'll come to the set position. Well,
maybe
I'm going to be honest, I didn't really see anything.
Maybe he turned his shoulder too much.
Nonetheless, runner on second base, 0-1 count here on Patrick Reed.
When you're on the mound and your feet are apart, you're allowed turning your body full.
Long run here for Piercy. He gets there in time. Nice play for Piercy.
An excellent play by Piercy. He was slow getting over there, but he kept his concentration, caught the ball, and then beat the runner to first base. It was a foot race between him and Reed.
Now watch this play. Now this is good for kids watching at home. Watch how Piercy handles this play. Yes, he gets the out, but he doesn't quite handle it right. The goal when you're a pitcher there is to run until about 10 feet from the bag, run directly at the line, and then run up the line with the runner, because if you run across that bag, you saw he was able to beat the runner by a couple of steps there. If that's a closer play, Piercy is embedded in the gravel behind first base right now.
McClellan handled that one perfectly. He had to get to that ball because it was a slow roller in the infield, and he threw it to Piercy on the run. And that's a tough play to make. You're almost like a quarterback in a play like that, getting someone on the run. And in baseball, you're usually throwing at a stationary target.
That's right, and credit McClellan as well, because you make the decision to go. When you go for that ball, you have to there can't be any indecision. If he is kind of hesitant on that play, it might get by him and into right field.
So we have another change in the Valleyfield lineup as Sébastien Labonté will come out, and pinch hitting for him will be number 56, Marc-André Legault. So Legault, a lefty bat now, comes in for the righty swinging Labonté, who flew out in his only a bat in the 3rd inning. He hit it out to David Denny. So Reed was erased 3-1 on that last play, and that sent runner Martin Benoit over to 3rd base.
So Legault steps into the box now. Left-handed batter facing the righty Piercy with 2 down. Valleyfield down by a run. Glace Bay leading 1-0 here in the 5th inning. Called strike. First pitch to Legault. First pitch fastball.
And Piercy still keeping the ball down in the zone. So far has only surrendered 1 hit in this game. It was in the last inning, in inning number 4. But an excellent scoring opportunity now for Valleyfield. Tough position here for Legault to come off the bench and get a single. Sirwa certainly thought about calling a strike on that one. Scott made the body motion that he was ready to call it and decided not to.
It's tough to tell from up here. A lot of those low pitches, I think I'm hearing him skipping the dirt, and he's calling them strikes. But it's tough to tell. 1-1 the count to Legault.
As you said, he is a pitcher's umpire.
He's been consistent on both teams too. You can't really complain about him at all. Ground ball to the second baseman. Nice play, gets it across to McClellan, and that's the inning. Nice play there by the second baseman, Donnie Burke, to retire the side. So after 5.5 innings, it is Glace Bay 1, Valleyfield no score.
We'll take a look at this ground ball hit by Legault. He did get the bat on it and hit it in the right direction, but Burke with enough time to get over there and make the play. And McClellan made sure that he caught the ball there at first. 2 hands on it. Very, very rarely do you see a first baseman catch it with 2 hands. Actually, you don't like to see your first baseman catch it with 2 hands because it usually means that it's in the dirt or something like that. 1-0 for Glace Bay in this game as we head down to the bottom of the 5th inning. Majeur is still on the mound.
You hear us pausing here because we're getting hit up for money.
I have none.
They're passing the hat around, or the bucket, as it were.
Scott, drop a 50 in there for me. Thank you.
I got you covered. Don't worry about it.
I ran out of money. I can't believe I made the trip from Montreal. I have no cash on me. Oh my. So Majeur now in this inning will have to face the top of the order. No, Donnie Burke will lead it off here. Robert Grant was the last out in the bottom of the 4th inning. So in that last inning for Valleyfield, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. And in the bottom of the 5th inning, so far Valleyfield with only 1 hit in the ball game. Glace Bay going through their lineup, they only have 1 hit as well, but they have the only run of the game. Their hit was by Donnie Burke, who is now coming up, their second baseman, who's been on base twice via the walk and the single.
Burke has certainly been a bit of a spark plug for this club here today. Got on base both times, walk and a single. We'll see what he does here against Marc-André Majeur. Look out. Just hit him off the shoulder.
Third time on base.
Yep.
So that's the second hit batsman there for Majeur.
Just gets away from Majeur here.
It's an attempt at the curveball because Burke got his way down the line very quickly. Obviously, it didn't sting too much.
We might see a change here for Glace Bay.
Well, Bonner talking it over with Duhamel, and now he's going to come over to tell Sirwa, and it looks like a pinch hitter.
I think so for
Didn't say.
Duhamel.
Pinch runner for Glace Bay, number 19.
Number 19, Danny McKillop, will come in and run for Donnie Burke at first base.
Number 77.
No, he will hit. We're not sure what they're doing here. No? Another, no, okay. This is what's going to happen. Number 17, Steve McKee will be the will go and coach at first base. Burke still standing on first. Bonner talking it over with Sirwa. They got their signals crossed, thus ours were crossed as well up here. So 19 is batting for 77. Danny McKillop now in the lineup.
for Duhamel.
That is right.
Next batter, number 19, Danny McCullough.
So it looks like maybe it could be a defensive change for later, as McKillop now comes in to hit here with a runner on first base.
McKillop making his second trip to Cornwall. He was here last time with the junior squad. So runner on first, nobody out, hit batsman, Donnie Burke, squared a bunt, pulls it back.
It's in the
Wild
dirt.
Pitch. Bit of aggressive base running there by Donnie Burke, a late slide. I think he's okay though.
It's a wild pitch.
We'll see the pitch here.
It's in the dirt. It was blocked by Roncourt, and that was all he could do with it. He got rid of it as quickly as possible. Down to his second baseman, Yannick Daou, but Daou a little bit late with the tag. They couldn't get Burke.
So McKillop, 1-0's the count. This is actually working out well for Glace Bay. They moved the runner over with no bunt, so scoring around could still be an option here.
I think that's why McKillop was brought in, because he's the better bunter, and they wanted to go and move the runner over, but they'll still try and do it. McKillop looked like he was bunting for a base hit there.
That's right. Didn't square around early at all.
And this is what you like to see, good sportsmanship, as McKillop picks up the helmet and mask of catcher Roncourt and hands it to him. That's the beauty of the game of baseball.
No, it's not too often in hockey you'll see somebody pick up the other guy's helmet or glove and hand it to him. It's more often you'll see him shoot it away.
Especially after they beat it off of his head.
That's right.
Bunt down the line.
Better get out and touch it. There we go. First baseman all the way across the field to get that one. Pilot goes over and touches it, because with this grass on either side of the base paths, that could roll back in fair, and that just might have.
How is...
I think there's a free substitution.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
Lamonte's at third. I can't wait till we get Del Bergeron in here so he can explain the rules to us.
I was just going to say, Benoit ran for Pilot last inning.
Wide sweeping curve there by Major outside. The count now 2-2 to the pinch hitter, McKillop. Runner at second base.
Majeur's got to stay with that fastball, because it has been working for him. It's when he starts throwing the curve that he gets in trouble.
Got under that one a bit. Shallow fly into right field, charging hard the right fielder. Nice catch there by Reed.
So a fly out there for pinch hitter McKillop. So we'll take a look at the high inside fastball. McKillop turned on it, but just got under it. And it was a tough play for Reed, especially with his second baseman, Daou, coming right back at him. It's tough when you hear the footsteps.
Yeah, if that ball had been a little deeper, it might have moved the runner over, but Reed was charging hard. So up now for Glace Bay, Charles Nash, who drove one deep foul to the left side. He flies one out to right field. Easy play for Reed. And just like that, there's 2 outs. Valleyfield looks like they might be able to work out of this one as well.
So Major showing his experience out there, getting into trouble with his wildness. And we'll take a look at this pop out here, a late swing by Nash as it goes to Reed. And he makes an easy play in right field, and nowhere for Burke to go, with Reed practically on top of him.
You mentioned it earlier, Glace Bay, they get Major on the ropes and they're swinging at the first pitch. They should be taking it and letting him continue to rattle his own cage. Quick strikes to McClellan. 0-2, 2 outs, runner on second.
And Majer's found that low outside strike that you talked about earlier, Scott. But I imagine that we'll see the curveball from him now.
Coach Bonner wanting to top things over now with McClellan.
McClellan's had a tough day at the plate. He was caught looking in inning number 2, and then he struck out swinging with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning. There had already been 1 run in for Glace Bay, the only run of this game after Greg Fortune scored, and McClellan very frustrated with himself.
I think he's feeling the weight of the world right now. He digs in, 0-2, 2 outs, runner on second base. 1-0 Glace Bay leads Valleyfield here in the bottom of the 5th. He lunges at that one and drives it well fouled down the left field line.
It was a good swing for someone who struck out twice and had his confidence down. Must have been a good word from Coach Nick Bonner.
He's choked up a bit too with an 0-2 count. Watches that one well outside, 1-2.
Majer is going for that low outside strike.
1-2. He hasn't really had command of it lately, but we might see him dip back into that curveball with the left-handed batter up. Down goes McClellan to end the 5th inning.
So no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base for Glace Bay.
So after 5 complete innings, Glace Bay and Robert Piercy lead this game 1-0 over the Valleyfield team. You're watching Rogers Community 11 coverage of the Canadian Senior Little League Championships here at Lutt Bergeron Memorial Field in Cornwall. We'll be back in just a minute's time. We're back at Lutt Bergeron Memorial Field, top of the 6th inning. Valleyfield up to bat, led off by their second baseman, Yannick Daou. 1-0 the score for Glace Bay, Nova Scotia. Robert Piercy pitching a fine game, and joining us here in the booth now, Del Bergeron, my partner in crime when we did the junior championships last year. Welcome back to the booth, Del.
You're welcome. It went fast the year, eh?
It certainly did.
One year later.
Man, oh man. Did you get a raise this year like I did? Or,
yes, I got a raise.
Good,
all right.
good.
Claw back.
Glad to hear that. Grounded up the line. Picked up nicely by Duhamel across to McClellan. 1 gone now in this 6th inning for Valleyfield. Well, Del, we've got a number of questions for you. It was nice having you in the booth last year because as we went over, we've got the replay here first. Pitch here from Piercy to Daou. He'll just ground it softly up the line here.
Playing right on the grass.
That's right. Couple of hops to Duhamel across to McClellan. Okay, let's talk about substitution. Pinch runners. What's the deal there? They can come in and out freely? Is that the idea?
There's been some rule changes this year as far as...
that was the problem. I just had last year's rules down.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
This year there's been some changes. Oh.
Little flare to left center field. Center fielder moves over for Glace Bay, gets it in. So Valleyfield has a runner on first base now. That's Marc-Andre Leduc. Sorry, Dale, go ahead.
That's pitchers now. If they're out there on the mound, they can be removed and put out into the field, and they can come back in later in the game.
To pitch.
To pitch.
Okay.
And that's something that has changed this year. Your runner, of course, you're allowed to substitute the runner on first base, bring somebody in, and then you can re-enter that person that you've taken out.
Right.
As in major leagues, of course, you're not allowed. Once he's out, he's gone.
We had a little confusion earlier in the game with that a couple of times.
Yes.
Valleyfield has been substituting pretty freely as far as pinch runners go anyway.
Right. And that's what you want to do
Sure.
if you've got a real fast man.
Kid. Sure.
You put him out there because it's only a one-run game here.
That's
it's
right.
A good game.
So Jonathan Rancourt, the catcher, up right now for Valleyfield. 1-0 is the count on him. Runner on first base, Marc-Andre Leduc with a base hit. Piercy watching him closely. 2-0 now.
Glace Bay has a very good defensive unit out there. They've improved tremendously over last year. We saw them last year play as a 13-year-old national team. There's been a big improvement on their team. We're seeing a team that is well coached.
Well, talking with Coach Bonner before this game as well, this is a team that is full of kids who have been to national championships as well. Now, Piercy up against Rancourt.
And Valleyfield, of course, you can't count them out because they have a lot of experience at the national level, and they're the type of team that can come back in the last inning. So they're going to have to be very careful here.
Well, we're now in the top of the 6th inning. 1-0 Glace Bay leads. Runner on first base. 3-0 count though, with the pitcher Marc-Andre Major on deck. Called strike. Major has hit the ball solidly both times he's been up today, center field and left field. So we'll have to see what happens when he gets up. 3-1 the count now. Robert Piercy has pitched a fine game today for Glace Bay, only given up 1 hit.
And he still looks the same as he was in the first.
Nice drive to center field, moves over.
Nice.
Runner fell down at second base, but he has plenty of time to get back. Nice play in center field there by Glace Bay's Charles Nash. Nash appears to be able to do it all for this Glace Bay team. We saw him crush the ball down the left field line earlier this game.
Center fielder takes off very quickly on this ball. Gets under it.
Indeed, that's the second out. Still runner on first base. Coach Bonner wants to talk with his pitcher.
One trip on Piercy.
Major moves into the box now for Valleyfield.
I was surprised they didn't bunt him down. I was really surprised. To get him down a second in scoring position.
Well, it's turned into a pretty nice day today, Del. It looked a little cloudy and cool earlier today.
I thought it was going to snow earlier, actually.
A little cool compared to, Paul and I were discussing it earlier. We had 30 and 35 degree weather earlier this summer, but this what we have now to me is ideal baseball weather. A little cool, it's not sweltering hot, and it's great weather.
For baseball, yes.
Still a runner on first base with 2 outs. First pitch to Major, ball low. Major swings through that pitch.
Not much of a lead off first base. I'm surprised that he wouldn't take a bigger lead than that, as he's a tying run.
That's right, he needs to, he'll have to be off at the crack of the bat as well. And if he can get a couple of steps on the lead, it can help on a play at third or even at home on an extra base hit. 1-1's the count to Major, 2 outs. Off-speed pitch there by Piercy fools Major. He swings through it. 1-2 now. Coach Seguin calls time. He wants to talk to his pitcher. Major has shown through this game to be a pretty emotional individual. I think the coach is trying to calm him down. The wind's died down a bit as this game has progressed too. It's still blowing out to left field, but not quite as briskly as it was earlier. Fly ball, right center field. It's Nash for a long run. Nice catch. Fantastic. Get a replay on that one. For the third out of this 6th inning, Charles Nash making 2 nice plays in the outfield in this inning. He's pretty happy with himself, and so are his teammates. Here you see the drive off Major. He's hit it hard all 3 times up to bat today. It's in the gap. The right fielder's nowhere to be found. Nash with the long run, diving catch. Right fielder just comes into the picture in time to celebrate.
A great defensive team.
Fantastic.
They're not going to make too many mistakes.
Coach Bonner, speaking with him earlier today before the game, said the field they play on is like playing on a cow pasture. Apparently, it's all dirt. They don't have a grass infield, and he thought that would be to their advantage in this game because the organizers of this year's tournament have this field right down. It's in beautiful shape, and he thought any bad hops, they're going to be ready for them.
He's used to playing bad hops?
That's right, exactly. Something I wanted to ask you as well, Del, when you got up into the booth was maybe about these umpires. Are you familiar with these umpires at all, like where they're from? I know they're all volunteers pretty well.
Yeah, Gary Sirwall behind the plate, he's out of Ottawa. And he's been around for a lot of years. The other fellas that we have out there, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, they're coming in from northern Dundas. And the umpires that we have here, we have 4 of them from Cornwall that are umpiring. And the rest of them are coming in from the district, Kingston, Ottawa, all of the outlying areas. So, yes, they are volunteers. And they're a good group of people. They'll come down and they'll kid around. Real nice group of fellas.
They're kind of the forgotten men on the field until something happens. Then they're not necessarily such a nice group of guys.
Anything close.
That's right. But this has been an exciting game. 1-0, bottom of the 6th inning now. Glace Bay up to bat. They lead Valleyfield. Valleyfield, the defending junior champions. 5 or 6 fellas on this Valleyfield team were here in Cornwall last summer for the juniors. And as well with this Glace Bay squad, they represented the Maritimes last year at the junior tournament, and as well 5 or 6 guys on this squad. The pitcher, Robert Piercy, leading it off here in the bottom of the 6th. He's pitched a fine game. We'll see if he can help himself with the bat here against Major. First pitch, ball high.
We've seen an excellent game, 1-0 in the 6th inning. This morning's game was another good game, final score 3-1.
That's right, bases loaded double to win it for Calgary.
Yes. When you get into the older divisions like this, you get to see a lot of really top-notch baseball.
Well, I can only encourage anybody who may watch this game today on Rogers Community 11 to perhaps come out this weekend, because it is fantastic baseball. Base hit, Robert Piercy, right up the gut. He's on first base with nobody out. This is fantastic baseball. Last year's junior tournament was run almost flawlessly, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with Cornwall getting the senior championships. Craig McNaughton and his crew last year getting this year's tournament for the seniors.
Definitely.
See the base hit by Piercy. Right up the middle. He's on first base now with nobody out, and once again, Glace Bay not even shy about the bunt. Throw down to first. Piercy's cut off, but he's going to be all right at second base, I think. Nope, dropped the ball. He's safe. Piercy twice today, not exactly smart base running.
Oh, he was caught.
He was. He got caught off second base by the catcher for Valleyfield earlier in this game. Rancourt threw him out at second base on a leadoff. Coach Bonner is back to the field. He's giving his player an earful. David Denny squared to bunt. Nice bunt up the third baseline. The third baseman forced to come in and field it.
Beautiful.
Nicely done. First and third now with nobody out.
It's nice to see them play percentage ball.
That's right.
Move that runner around to third, a fly ball, a ground ball brings him in.
And they've been playing that way all game.
Yep.
Absolutely. You see the perfect bunt here now. Valleyfield has the play in place where the third baseman stays on the bag, but that bunt draws the third baseman in, and he is forced to make the play.
He had the bunt sit on the grass.
That's right.
Nice and slow.
And you see the player right at the edge of the screen is actually the first baseman, Pilote. First and third now with nobody out. Time's called. Coach Bonner one step out of the coach's box. Third base umpire giving him an earful on that one. Here's the steals on. Set play, though.
No, they're not going to get him to go at third because there's no one out. No chances.
The shortstop, Leduc, cuts that throw off down to second base, seeing if they can get the runner leading off third, Piercy. See the delayed steal here. Throw through. Leduc cuts it off. Not a bad play for Valleyfield, considering the way Piercy's been running the bases today. He's been caught off a couple of times. Big lead off second base.
Massive.
There's nobody covering. David Denny. Greg Fortune, base hit, scores 2 almost here with that lead. Infield's in. 1-0's the score for Glace Bay in this game. Valleyfield down. Forced to bring the infield in. 1-0's the count on Fortune.
I'm surprised they're giving him that kind of a lead at second. Very surprised. Not holding him.
Wild pitch, runners holding. Piercy doesn't have great wheels. I don't think we'll see him coming home on a wild pitch.
When there's no one out, he's not going to take
There's
a chance.
no need. Absolutely.
No. He'll play percentage ball. Hope for a ground ball or a fly ball.
Leadoff batter Stephen McNeil is on deck. Fortune getting the signs. Second and third. 2-1's the count on Fortune. Major to the set position. Inside and low. 3-1.
He might walk him. Load the bases up,
Yep.
force play at home.
Might not be an entirely bad play. Except this is the ninth batter for Glace Bay. You'd like to think they want to get this guy.
Nope.
Major taking a lot of deep breaths out on the mound right now. McNeil's grounded out to the shortstop, sacrificing a walk today, so he's 0 for 1 officially. Another trip out to the mound for Coach Sagan to talk to Major.
Second trip on Major.
Coach Sagan making his way back to the dugout now. Bases loaded.
All the strategy now. Ball come home, probably play him home to first. Try for 2.
McNeil was just trying to get it out of the infield on this one. Base hit. Nice try by the second baseman, Daou, but it gets by him. Scores 1. Around second comes